sophomores who swept through the ranks of, listen to this, Jim Courier, Peter Corder, and Todd Martin en route to the Players Limited International title. This week, it's another unseeded challenger. He's fought his way to this championship match. It's Jason Stoltenberg of Australia. Wearing down his shoes with each match, Stoltenberg wore down fourth-seeded Jim Courier in the semi-finals to advance to his second final in as many weeks. Standing between Stoltenberg and the title is the number 8 seed Andre Agassi, who has come through to the final this week using his powerful two-handed backhand again and his perseverance this week in pressure situations. So it's Stoltenberg and Agassi for the Canadian Open Championship today on ESPN. The #1 attraction in tennis is next.
To the cameras is just...
Welcome to Tennis Canada.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome to Players International.
Thank you.
It's been a down year for the Blue Jays. It's the hockey off-season, of course, so tennis is the hottest ticket in Toronto this week.
There you go, well, thank you.
I know.
Oh, programs, draw sheets, read all about your favorite players.
Final match today, stop 6, IBM ATP Tour Single Week Championship Series, or Super 9. It is the Players Limited International Canadian Open Tennis Championships. Andre Agassi, the top seed in the minds of most players here in Toronto, against Jason Stoltenberg. It started out rather poorly again today with some rain this morning, but it has not delayed anything, and as of now the temperature is 90 degrees. It is hot, it is hazy. The forecast is for continued hot and humid, and we hope that rain does not interrupt this final match today. Very warm greetings to you, everybody. I'm Cliff Drysdale. Well, Jason Stoltenberg very nearly double-bageled Jim Courier, and that would have been a first yesterday. In fact, he had 6-love, 5-love, and then love 40, but he won one game, eventually winning the match 3-6, 6-love, and 6-1 in a really big surprise. And then Andre Agassi last night took on South Africa's Wayne Ferreira and took him out 6-4 and 7-5. So that sets up our final match today. Let me introduce you now to Vitas Gerolaitis, Broadway Vitas. Your reaction, first of all, to the match yesterday afternoon. Jim Courier, a big surprise, Vitas.
Yes, Jason Stoltenberg showed me a lot of versatility in that match. He lost the first set 6-3 by staying on the baseline. He was able to change his game, started serving out wide, serving out down the middle, coming into net, chipping and charging, really throwing Jim Courier off balance. And that's going to be so important because Jim Courier plays a very similar game to Andre Agassi. And for Stoltenberg to win today, you've got to keep Andre Agassi off balance.
How about Andre Agassi? How do you keep him off balance? For this week, anyway, he has really made some terrific comebacks, Vitas.
Yeah, I see his game really headed in a good direction. Yes, he's hitting the ball better. Yes, he's a little fitter. Yes, he's lost a little bit of weight. But what's most important, he's always been known as a real front runner. But he's come back against two really tough players. Wheaton, he was down 2 match points. Against Bruguera, down a set. That's so important. If he could add that other aspect to his game, that's going to be great.
Talking about his match with Wheaton, let's take a look at a couple of the really critical points. Match point here to Wheaton. That first serve called wide. That keeps Agassi in it. This is tiebreak.
Now take a look at this gutsy return from Andre Agassi. He's down match point. He's second serve.
It's Father Bruce Wheaton watching.
And at that point, somebody yelled foot fault to David Wheaton at such a crucial point. One of Andre's fans had to regroup.
Into the forehand side, and Agassi hits a winner. That keeps him alive in the tiebreak.
6-all.
That made it 6-all. Now, that wouldn't be that exciting of a shot with 30-all, a couple of games into the first set, but down match point to come up with a clean winner. What a spectacular shot. And it showed me a lot of guts from Andre Agassi. That's that famous forehand. Short backswing, pops it right down. David Wheaton really didn't even get off the mark.
Still in the tiebreak of the third set. Now, Agassi again facing a second match point, this time on his serve. Watch what happens.
And right down the middle, an ace.
7-all.
Well, Agassi feels good about his game, and how can you blame him? He talked to Vitas Gerulaitis earlier today.
Yeah, I think, my game is really coming together now, and I've been persevering now for a while. I mean, I had a rough clay court season, and last week in Washington was a bit rough for me, and, Brad's been saying, come on, man, it'll come. We just got to stay at it and stay at it. And I really feel like my game's coming together, and when you really feel like you're hitting the ball well and you haven't been, it tends to make you a lot more focused, and I want to really carry this through not only today, but the rest of the summer.
Vitas, he has not been, expected to win all his matches this week, and he really came through, especially against Bruguera, the top seed, and as we've already said, he had a tough one against David Wheaton. But today he's supposed to win, will he?
Yes, I feel that he's a favorite in today's match. Very important for Stoltenberg to be able to mix up the game as he did against Jim Courier, and Andre Agassi doesn't have to change a thing. Just keep on fighting like he's done all week long.
Okay, Agassi and Stoltenberg will battle it out for the top prize here, the Canadian Open Tennis Championship. The CN Tower is one of the things you need to visit when you come up here to Toronto, because when you get up in that thing, it goes around in a circle. You can see just about everything in Toronto. Behind that, you see Toronto Harbour. Now, just coming into your view, bottom right of your screen, is the famous Sky Dome. Blue Jays and Argos both playing their Blue Jays out of town at the moment. This is Andre Agassi now at the National Tennis Centre. It's on the campus of York University, if you know this area. It's on the outskirts of Toronto. It's a terrific facility. And it looked earlier today for all the world like it was going to rain again and maybe delay things. But we had some rain. It stopped and the courts were dried off very quickly. We had one of the senior matches that really delighted the crowd here. We had, I guess, Fred Stolle, our man, was playing. And a group of, including Ilya Nastasi. Agassi's 24. Las Vegas, Nevada is where he was born, and he still lives there. Make no mistake about it, he's very much at home on these hard courts, because almost every court in Las Vegas is a hard court. He's currently ranked number 20, but he'll be at number 15 at the end of this week, no matter what happens. And he has made a whole slew of money in his career, more so off court than on, truthfully.
Yes, at the beginning of his career, he was predominantly a clay courter. Most of his wins came on clay, but then as he progressed and matured, he is now I feel he's a better hard court player than he is clay court player.
Okay, we don't have 7. That's all I want.
2 times a finalist at the French Open Championships. He has won Wimbledon. That's his only Grand Slam win. As for Jason Stoltenberg, well, this guy from Australia has never even come close to winning a Grand Slam, but he's one of those players who's coming right at the right time for him. He was born in Australia, still lives in Newcastle, although he bought a place down in Orlando, Florida. He's 24 years old, Jason Stoltenberg. He was in the final last week in Washington, a losing effort to Stefan Edberg. He's in the final again here this week. And he's had a couple of 3 very good wins, including that win over Courier yesterday. First point. Oh, yeah. His forehand has improved a lot. Used to be a vulnerable part of his game.
His backhand still is his better shot, but Cliff, you're correct in saying that his forehand has really been beefed up. You really can't play to that side and expect error after error. Well, that's quite a good start from Jason Stoltenberg. 2 clean winners.
Head-to-head doesn't look too good for Jason Stoltenberg, but let me remind you that he had a bad head-to-head with some of the players that he's beaten here. He has never beaten Agassi. Courier had beaten him 4 times out of 5, and then he stomped on him in the semi-final yesterday. And Richie Renneberg, who was the number 15 seed, the man that he beat in the quarterfinals, had also, he'd never beaten Richie until this week. Agassi wants a call. He's not going to get one. Game point, Stoltenberg. You can see Richie Renneberg was 0-4. Semi-final Courier was 1-5. And today 0-2. But he has beaten the odds this week.
Game Stoltenberg. First game.
Fine backhand from Stoltenberg. He's better side, and he leads 1-0. Agassi to fire after this break.
Good start for Jason Stoltenberg. 3 clean winners in the game. Here's a look at the last point. Typical start. Fluid service motion. Good return from Andre Agassi. And now this backhand has been so effective this week long. Big backswing with a high followed through. Another clean winner. Good start.
Both had surgery here in the last few years. In the summer of '92, Stoltenberg had shoulder surgery, and he was out from August until the end of that year. Played a full year last year and this year. Agassi was fighting that wrist all of last year, as you remember. At Wimbledon, he was playing with an abbreviated serve action and was trying cortisone shots, and eventually ended up having surgery. He was out really for 10 weeks, came back this year on the hard courts in Scottsdale and won.
An injury you're talking about, forcing to miss all but 1 week of the clay court season, so he really didn't get much experience in the middle of the year.
Scar, if you can see it there on the outside of his wrist where he had that surgery. That's a terrific. Well, we've seen a lot of that. You give him time, he goes down the line.
We talked about his versatility. He has a very good slice backhand, but when he has time, he can pull the trigger on it. Gets that big shoulder turn and takes the ball on the rise. Now he'll have his opportunity. Andre's sort of cheating to the backhand side. He sees a wide open forehand side and just bangs it down for a winner.
30-15.
40-15.
Remember, Jimmy Connors had wrist problems a few years ago, and the same doctor actually operated on both he and Agassi, both very successful. At the time when Connors was thinking about retiring, but he's very much alive on a senior tour. Stop short. Game point still for Agassi at 40-30. Jason Stoltenberg was the top junior player in the world. A lot of pressure on him. And, you know, the word is that he really felt the pressure. And it was difficult to live up to because of the great Australian dynasty.
Game Agassi.
And then, as I mentioned, he had that surgery on his shoulder. That set him back some. But he sure has come into his own now, hasn't he?
1-all.
1 game more, first set. Agassi got a bye in the first round as one of the top 8 seeds, and then Jakob Hlasek of Switzerland, I mean, he just, he brushed him aside, but David Wheaton, you remember what happened
What
there.
a tremendous match that was.
2 match points to Wheaton, Bruguera the top seed, and then Ferreira yesterday.
Well, it seems that Jason Stoltenberg has decided to come out and fire off the backhand side. If he has an opportunity, he's going to force Andre Agassi's play. He's not going to let Andre get into a mode where he's dictating play all the time.
$15-all.
If you were talking about Andre's wrist, he used to go into every press conference with an ice pack on his wrist, but the last couple conferences he has not brought the ice pack, so obviously he feels it's recovered.
30-15.
30-15 in this game. You know, Agassi has his detractors in tennis, but for anybody who loves tennis and wants to see tennis participation on the up, it's a good thing to have him around because he's by far tennis's most charismatic personality. 40-15 after that ace, which is his first.
He's got a very exciting style of tennis, Cliffy. He's not the typical ground stroker that just keeps the ball deep and tries to wear you down. He stays right on the baseline, takes the ball on the rise, and really forces the play.
Stoltenberg.
Like that, although he netted that return of serve. So Stoltenberg leading, no breaks yet, 2 games to 1. First set, best of 3 set final. Stoltenberg of Australia 2 games to 1 in the first set of this best of 3 set Canadian Open Championship final match. Well, Bradley Gilbert, who is sitting there on the sidelines, is playing a very different role these days. He still plays on the tour, of course, but Vitas Gerulaitis caught up with him this morning and talked to him about his new role as a coach.
You know what the key to coaching is? Making sure you have a great horse.
I can't disagree with you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's tough if you could take a couple guys who are 500 and, you know, got to chisel them into greatness, but you might as well start with a good horse, right?
When you were asked by Andre to work with him, what else can Brad Gilbert do to help Andre Agassi improve as a tennis player?
I think he needs to vary his game a little bit. I think a lot of times he got into playing one speed. And I think he has a great tempo of, you know, being able to loop the ball, crack the ball, work the point. You know, I think one shot in his game that wasn't lacking, he had no approach shots. You know, I think a lot of times he just tried to win the point. And a lot of times the one shot I still think that he needs to get in his game, and he knows it, and Connor's learned it about 24, 25. When you got a guy on their back heels, you got to start coming in the net, put the, you know, the thinking in him that you're going to just come in. I mean, just become a good high volleyer, and you're going to win a lot of points.
Shot is wide, and it's 15 all. You got to agree with that, don't you, Vinny?
Yeah, I most definitely. And what's really important, Brad was a great grinder. He used to come back from situations where he was really out of the match. And Andre's known as a front runner. Now, if some of that toughness could rub off on Andre, it could only help and improve his game because the talent's there.
Oh, yeah, that's nice, and he gets it, and it's 30-15. Of course, it helps, as he says, to have the right horses. That's like a Davis Cup captain with the field that Gullickson's got now for the U.S.
Well, this thoroughbred's playing pretty well right now. He puts in a good serve, and I think he probably heard that little voice of Brad Gilbert in the background. He says, hit a high volley. Well, the high volley's there. He puts it away with 2 hands. Whoa, pained at the outside of the line.
40-15.
Now, that was apparently overruled.
Pull it out. Yeah, it missed. No, there it is, right at the edge there. You called it out, didn't you? You called it out. Yeah.
But what's this, man?
No, I don't. It must have been a mistake. I saw it out. It was out. I saw it out, Jason.
Have a look at the linesman in the background. Watch this now. Here's the one they're talking about. Watch the lines person. Yeah, he shouldn't indicate any out there. Maybe he called
indicated
out.
Good, and Cliffy, it was right on the outside edge of the line.
40-15. Oh.
And that's what he thinks about that call.
Now he's thinking,
Take
if
that
call had come my way, it'd be break point instead of still game point for Agassi.
What a great shot, that backhand. Doesn't look like he's hitting it that hard because it's so fluid, but what a heavy shot.
Game Agassi.
Big serve from Agassi, and he holds on 2 games off first set. Talking about Brad Gilbert, when I talked to him about Jason Stoltenberg, he said, you know, Stoltenberg is a happier guy than he was just a few years ago. And he said, I think that is kind of translating itself into his game. He is now engaged to Andrea Strunadova. They are going to get married soon, and they're going to have 2 weddings, one in the Czech Republic and one in Australia. That's very good. I'm telling you, I don't think people give him enough credit, Vitas. The guy really plays well.
He's certainly, his game is really starting to gel. I think a year or so ago, he was still working on the forehand, but he is able to stay on the baseline, toe-to-toe with Andre Agassi, but he's got that great knack for picking the shot to come into net on. Now, he sees this is going to be a really good opportunity to watch. That you can't teach. You cannot teach that natural time to move into the net.
That's why.
15 all.
15 all. But the thing about him is that he volleys very well, and it's a natural volley. He doesn't have to come in behind a great approach shot, because sometimes he can get away with something less than very good because he's got such a good volley. Unlike an Agassi or a Courier, really, they need the great approach shot. .1530. You're watching the Players Limited International Canadian Open Tennis Championships. We're in the campus of York University. It's the final match. Andre Agassi, Jason Stoltenberg, Cliff Drysdale alongside Vitas Gerulaitis. Mary Carrillo today and this weekend has been on assignment. The mysterious on assignment. 1530. Covering the final, actually, of a women's match, one of the prettiest spots in all of the world, in Vermont, Stratton Mountain. Volvo used to be held there. ESPN will be at this year's Volvo in New Haven, Connecticut, with 7 days of coverage. Meanwhile, Agassi here in the driver's seat in this game. 2 break points, Stoltenberg serving into the sun. And there's the break. First blood to Agassi. He'll serve after they take a break. We will as well. He leads 3-2, first set. This is a best of 3 set final match of the Canadian Open. Well, I tell you what, the ATP Tour is trying to get people involved in tennis matches, and it seems like it's working. You see that wave, which is now finally subsided. But the fans here are really getting into this thing, and there's nobody better than Andre Agassi to get him involved.
Yeah, he really is one of the most charismatic players in tennis today. Fans, no matter how he plays, they love him. Win, lose, or draw, he's their favorite.
Stoltenberg's the one who's making all the moves here. As you can see, 2 and 3 in the winner's unforced errors column for. Drop shot works. He's quick about the court, though, Vitas, isn't he, Agassi?
Yeah, very, very quick around the court. And I think that's another department that's improved, besides the fact that he's fighting a lot harder for points. 2 years ago, when he was into his weight training program, he bulked up, gained a little bit of weight. I thought he lost that quick first step, but it's come back to him. He's much quicker and sharper around the court.
Didn't get to that one, though. Love 15. Missed it, love 30.
But Cliff, that last game, Stoltenberg's got to be very careful not to get lulled into a backcourt match with Andre Agassi. The reason he won yesterday was mixing up the baseline game with the chip and charge game with the serving wide game. He's not going to beat Andre Agassi going toe-to-toe from the baseline.
On the line. That's wide.
Love 40.
Well, great chance for Stoltenberg to get that break back. 3 break points. It's a little breezy. He threw up a couple of those high topspin forehands, and that last one, Andre thought it had sailed wide.
Break point. Saves one with that big forehand that goes down the line that time.
He doesn't run around his backhand as much as Jim Courier, but when he does, he's very, very comfortable. Generates a lot of power when he's running to his left.
Jim Courier, when he runs around the shot, like you saw Agassi doing, almost every time hits it cross court into the backhand side. 2 saved. Still break point, Stoltenberg.
38-40.
He missed it. Vidas, you have to say one thing about Stoltenberg. You know, yesterday what he did was, and you pointed it out in the open, he threw a lot of variety at Courier, but he has the game to throw variety. I mean, he sometimes comes under the ball, he sometimes goes over it, he can guide the forehand in court. On the other hand, he can hit it at 110%. So he's got the shots. Deuce.
That's really tough when he can take the ball on the rise so you can see your opening, so you don't really have to swing quite as hard, but you could push it into the opening. Andre on the baseline. This ball just comes off the racket so quickly that he could just barely get his racket on it. Another break point.
Yeah, that's a good approach shot from Agassi. It's a little dangerous, actually. You come in there, and this looks like a very easy shot because it's hit the tape and it's kind of standing there. But meanwhile, Jason Stoltenberg is way back, and he still has to make the shot. This one here, and it's break point, remember, but he doesn't take much off it, and wins the point.
Never takes much off his approach shot, does he? And Cliff, I think that's the point that Brad Gilbert's trying to make to Andre, is that players like Brad and myself, we used to come in on the kitchen sink occasionally, on shots that no human would try to come in on. But these guys are coming on really great approach shots. You're never going to get a low volley. Everything's going to be shoulder high, so it's really just a matter of technique and footwork to be able to execute those shots. They're really relatively easy. We use that to hit top volleys because they're all off our shoestrings.
Yeah. Point.
Game Agassi.
Game to Agassi. Boy, we was in a deep hole.
Give him his towel. You want a towel? Give him his towel.
Wondering if Jason Stoltenberg was going to say something to Richard Kaufman in the chair. He did not. Very humid, so he's going to collect a towel. 4-2. Agassi leads. It was what you're saying. Basically, Vidas, is if a guy has a good enough approach shot, he doesn't have to have a great volley to put the point away. And I agree with you. We used to say that about Krickstein as well.
Love 15.
Smooth service action, but Andre Agassi rockets the return, and he didn't even get a chance to get to the service line. That's how quick that ball came off his racket. And I think sometimes the advice is misunderstood. No one wants to turn Jim Courier or Andre Agassi into a serving volley, but just think of the extra added dimension if they could put away those high forehand volleys easier instead of trying to hit a lower percentage shot from the baseline.
30-15 in this
30-15
game, trailing 2-4. Stoltenberg waited until he was 23 years old before winning his first career title. That was last year in Manchester on grass. He won another one this year, again on grass. That was at Birmingham. Excuse me, that was not on grass. That was an outdoor clay court tournament here in the U.S. early in the year, in the spring. But did have a good grass court season this year at Manchester. He lost to Wayne Ferreira in the semi-finals. Wimbledon, he got to the third round. Brian Shelton, who took out Michael Stich, beat him there in 5 sets. And he played the final last week in Washington. Missed that,
Deuce.
so it is deuce at 2-4. So lately, it has really been good for Jason Stoltenberg. Second straight appearance in a final, as I said last week, losing to Stefan Edberg in the final. 10 of 11 matches, 19-5 since the beginning of June. That includes that Wimbledon period. Wearing contact lenses now, Stoltenberg.
Advantage Stoltenberg.
Game point to Stoltenberg. He's the son of a cotton farmer not far from Sydney, Australia, and he moved to Sydney when he was 15 years old.
Game Stoltenberg. Ball
The
change.
turn is wide. Stoltenberg holds on. Agassi, one breaker serve for 3. He was in trouble last time he served.
Agassi
He'll
leads
serve
4-3.
after this. At the National Tennis Center here in 1992, it was Andre Agassi in the final against Ivan Lendl, who had won this title 6 times. Agassi, as you can see, his arms in the air, a winner, 3-6, 6-2, and 6-love. Lendl won the first set, but then really fell apart. Agassi had beaten Malavia Washington in the semi-final. Lendl had beaten McEnroe and Mercer to get to the final that year. Agassi trying to become a multiple winner of the Canadian. As we said, Lendl, a major multiple winner, the most successful player of all time. John McEnroe won it a couple of times, but he's the only other multiple winner of the Canadian
15.
in the Open era. Lendl losing to Wayne Ferreira here in the round of 16. Ferreira losing to Agassi in the semi-final last night.
For this tournament, for this match so far?
Ace. Very low.
A very high percentage of first serves, 87%. But it's a little deceiving because he doesn't really go for the big first serve. As you saw on the last point, yes, he can hit an ace occasionally, but he really sets up the point with his serve, puts a little bit more spin on it. That's why the high percentage. What was the second serve points one? But Cliff, you know you're going to win
15.
at least 60% when your percentage of your first serves when you're serving well. But to win 100% of your second serve points, that means you're really backing up the second serve really well.
Yeah, it just shows that he doesn't win on his serve. He wins on what backs the serve up. Terrific ground game. 40-15.
15.
Game point Agassi to go up 5-3 first set. He got it. Stoltenberg looking for a
Game
call.
Agassi.
Richard Kaufman saying it was
I
good.
think
And
he caught the
Agassi.
line. I think he caught the line. Agassi leads 5-3.
Yeah, complaining to Kaufman. You heard Kaufman saying to him, I think he got the line, I think he got the line.
Could you take these balls down too? I'm sorry.
That almost looked like an exhibition point. You know, you see where they show tennis?
Yeah.
To look at the angle that these guys were getting. And this is a shot that Nastasi would normally hit. He's sort of the one that he sort of scrapes the line along the net.
(5-3) Agassi.
Love 15.
Oh, looked pretty close as well. Going against Stoltenberg that time.
Well, right now he's not getting the breaks that he was getting in the Courier match yesterday.
Net court judge nearly caught one in the side of the head on the return. Love 30.
Love 30.
Yeah, that's just very solid volley. Took that one right off his shoelaces and kept himself in the point. And it's not like he just tried to sort of get it in play. He really played an aggressive volley. That's a very fine shot. Watch this.
And he hasn't had that many opportunities to get into net. Andre Agassi has been hitting the ball so deeply. But Jason Stoltenberg has technically a very good volley. Gets the racket out in front, doesn't drop the wrist. The wrist is firm.
Oh! 30 all.
30 all.
Heavy ground strokes from
40-30.
Jason Stoltenberg, putting Andre Agassi on the defensive.
Game point. Agassi was ready to walk. Got the call and then backs up. Second serve. Yeah, that's just very good. I mean, I thought Stoltenberg did very well to keep himself in that point. And Agassi just swings it into the other side for the winner.
And Andre also showed enough patience not to rush that shot. Stoltenberg just barely gets into the point. Now he sees the real easy shot. Now you have a tendency, some players, to rush that. He took his time, marked it, had the whole open court, but executed it beautifully.
Advantage Stoltenberg.
We've been coming to you at 1 o'clock each day. It's 3:15 in the afternoon now as this match is being played. The sun is not as bad as it is at 1 o'clock, but it's still not great on this side.
Game Stoltenberg.
So much for that as he serves his third ace. Jason Stoltenberg hangs on. He was in trouble. They'd love 30 at one point, but comes back. Agassi will serve for the first set after they take this break. So will we.
Let's take a look at the two players' backhands. Andre Agassi on the right. Great shoulder rotation, prepares earlier than almost any player on the tour. And what generates all that power is watch his shoulders rotate through the shot. Tremendous racket head speed as it comes to the ball. Stoltenberg here is shown hitting a slice back. And now watch, the head of the racket starts much higher, comes down and through from high to low, and that's what gives the underspin effect to the ball. Agassi's topspin to Stoltenberg's slice.
For the first set, Agassi serving. Wide.
15 love.
15 love. Vitas, as you were calling that, you were so right about the shoulder rotation for Agassi, because that's what gives him the power on the backhand. And then the contrast, I thought that was so interesting. Stoltenberg, no shoulder rotation on the one-handed shot. It's all arm. Keep the shoulder down until after you make contact with the ball on the single-handed backhand. 15 love. $30 love.
30 love. $40 love.
Set points now.
Game, first set, Agassi, 6-4.
One breaker serve was all that Agassi needed, and he held on. He was in trouble on his serve a few times, but came back, as he has done so many times in this tournament, and wins the first set. This is the final match of the Canadian Open. First point, second set.
$15 love.
$30 love Stoltenberg. Patrick Rafter
30 love.
has been the #1 player from Australia, but Jason Stoltenberg will be the #1 player from Australia after today, currently 33. After his win today, will be 21 in the world. That's if he wins today, and this is a career high for him.
40 love.
$245,000 for the winner today, $129,000 for the runner-up of the singles. That'll be the biggest payday for Jason Stoltenberg, win or lose today. Game point.
$40-15.
That shot wrapped around Andre's racket a couple of times, but because of the two hands, he was able to firm it over the net. Sets up for it and just frames off the racket. Still on the court.
Stoltenberg.
One
First
game to
game,
love
second set.
Stoltenberg. The players will change ends. This is the final match of the Canadian Open. Well, thanks a lot, Vitas. 6 games to 4, Agassi first set, 1 game to love Stoltenberg on serve. This is Agassi about to serve here. The doubles final looks like this. Patrick McEnroe, Jared Palmer will take on Jonathan Stark and Byron Black. Agassi to serve. Well, there's one laid-back dude who decided to come up here and join us. He's playing the doubles final here in a minute, but Patrick McEnroe is going to join us here to talk about the rest of this match. And Andre Agassi, welcome, Patrick.
Thank you. It's a good way to relax before the big final coming up.
So this is just relaxation for you, huh?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Patrick McEnroe.
And like all good New Yorkers, Patrick, you're wearing your Yankees hat, and I like that.
Yeah, except this, well, we might have the strike. So we were talking
Short-lived
about that
first
earlier
place.
today. Yeah, let's hope not.
30 love. Yep, missed it. 40 love. Agassi, what do you think so far, Patrick?
Well, Stoltenberg's showing that he's improved his ground strokes a lot. Vias was mentioning before his forehand. He's improved it a lot. He's not making as many mistakes. But the bottom line is that he's not that good enough off the ground, I think, to beat Andre from the baseline the way Andre's playing with his confidence. I think he's got to get in a little bit more, get to net a bit more, put some pressure on Andre. Because right there you can see Andre's just so comfortable at the back of the court. He's spinning his first serve in, and that shows that he feels confident from the baseline against Jason.
Do you see what he did yesterday against Courier?
I saw quite a bit of the match, and I think the difference here is that Andre's hitting the ball, taking the ball a lot earlier, putting them under a bit more pressure. Against Curry, had a little more time to work the point, and here he's not getting that luxury.
1 game all, second set.
Patrick, in yesterday's match against Jim Courier, Jim just seemed physically a little bit flat after that first set, whereas Andre, this whole week, has that quick first step back again that he had a couple years ago.
Certainly, he seems a lot more confident. I think that's the one thing you notice in Andre. When he's confident, he's moved so much better. And, yeah, you're right. He has been moving exceptionally well all week.
Topspin lob is just long.
15 all.
Kind of shot that you say just a little prayers goes over your head because you can't be sure, but that was about 6 inches long. It's 15 all. .30-15. Patrick, there's a book on everybody, obviously. I mean, a locker room book. What do the boys say about Jason Stoltenberg there? Where's his vulnerable point?
Well, we used to say his forehand, but, I mean, obviously he's got a great backhand, and he showed on that last point, but his forehand's always been a little susceptible, but he's improved it a lot. He's hitting, like I said, he's hitting it with a lot more consistency. And there, I think you see a little bit of his weakness right there, a little bit coming in below the net. He's a good volleyer, but he doesn't have great feel and great hands at the net. And I think we saw that just on that last point, a good return by Andre at his feet.
30 all. Tight. Little elbow. Break point.
Deuce.
I think so much as being tight for Jason Stoltenberg is just that I don't think he's as comfortable today as he was against Jim Courier after that first set. And I think that's due largely to the part of the other guy on the other side of the net. This guy's a way of making you very uncomfortable, especially when you come in on an approach shot that's not that good.
Advantage Agassi.
Half volleys that ball, and that's just not good enough against Andre Agassi. Patrick pointed out that his hands are not that good, doesn't react quite as well when he's hitting half volleys at his shoestrings. And Agassi knows how to finish off a point from the baseline.
Deuce, so he saves a break point. You show me the guy who has to half volley on the approach shot and who can win the point against Agassi, and I want to meet that guy because he's got to be some player. Deuce.
Patrick, as far as serves go, where would you place Stoltenberg's serve amongst the players playing now?
I think he mixes it up well. He doesn't have a tremendous power, but he's got very good variation there. You see he throws in a little kick. Picks up a good half volley. I mean, Andre's just returning so well. He's trying different things now. You can see he's coming in a bit more. He's spun that one in deep to the backhand. Here's a good pickup here. He picks it up, doesn't hit it that great, but gets it back deep. And that was just enough to make Andre miss a pass.
Game point.
He's also been a little bit unlucky today. He's just missed a couple of important points by an inch or two. Yeah. Whereas everything was dropping in for him yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, Vitas. In fact, you know, Courier said so in the news press conference that he gave afterwards. He said that early stage when I lost that first break, as you watch this replay again, he said that was a critical moment because the whole sort of tenor of the match changed, and had those first couple of games gone differently, then the whole match would have. Stoltenberg comes in, puts it away, and he has another game point.
But that's what I like about Jason. He's thinking out there. He's not content to just play one style. And fortunately for his game, he can play different types of tennis. He can play from the baseline. He can mix it up with a serve and volley, chip and charge.
Ooh.
What's he going to think about that, Vita?
All I can say is I'm glad that I wasn't serving that ball and coming into the net.
Here's what he's got to deal with here. Been mixing up to serve well. He puts it in right to Andre's backhand, and he's been hitting that so well today. Short backswing and just rips right through it. Tremendous racket head speed.
It amazes me how quickly he sees the ball, can track it, turn his shoulders.
Terrific. On the line on that cross-court forehand. Really great stuff, and it has to be. This match is producing some terrific tennis now.
Advantage Stoltenberg.
Well, that was a John McEnroe-esque type of shot. Stoltenberg sees an opportunity to get into net after this ground stroke. He catches a break with the lead court. Out wide, he'll loop this one cross-court. Great court coverage from both players. Now watch him cut this ball off. He won't let it drop. Take it in the air. Surprises Andre Agassi. Forces him to run way cross-court.
Game point. Winner down the line, Deuce again.
But then he comes back with such an arrogance to the next point and just slaps the ball by you.
He's just looking so confident. He's just hitting the ball so smooth. And this is a huge game for Stoltenberg here. If he gets down a break, the way Andre's looking and his confidence, I think he could run away with this set. So he's got to pull this game out.
I think you did right about that. Deuce. 30-15. I mean, game point. Best returner of serve in the business?
Certainly in the top 2 or 3. I think we talked the other day about Todd Martin, who came up and spoke a little bit. He's certainly got to be up there, but as we see right here, he sets up another with another great return.
Jim Courier would be another one?
I don't think Courier's in the same league on the return of serve as Agassi and Martin are. Obviously, once the point gets going, he's right up. There's a great return deep, this time off the forehand. There he moves around it and hits it into the open court, like you said, very easily, Vitas, as you spoke of earlier.
Left.
Who would be the 1 or 2 other ones that you would put in the league of an Agassi, Todd Martin?
How about Michael Chang?
Michael Chang, possibly, but I don't think he's up there. I think those 2 guys right now are the 2 best.
Mm-hmm. Deuce.
Ooh. Advantage Agassi.
If you're right, and I think you are, Patrick, this is a very important point for Stoltenberg because Agassi could run away with it if he gets his nose out front. Break point, 1 game all, second set. He won the first. Ooh. 5 aces.
That's the best way I know how to get out of a break point situation.
That shows his confidence from winning so many matches that he's been winning the last couple weeks to be able to come up with a shot like that. Because he knows if he misses a serve, he's in big trouble on the second.
Bad man is Stoltenberg.
Is there a pattern to Agassi's game, his ground strokes, Patrick? Like if you come in, you know, he's got to run for it. Does he go down the line mostly, or does he mix it up well?
I think he mixes it up, especially when he's confident like this. He can go any way from any spot on the court.
Missed the return, so Jason Stoltenberg holds on, but barely. 2-1. Stoltenberg leading. Agassi will serve. 2-1. Stoltenberg on serve in the second set. Only one breaker serve in the match. Agassi got that in the first set and won that 6-4. Well, yesterday, Jason Stoltenberg lost the first set to Jim Courier, then went to plan B. And Vitas asked him about it this morning.
Yeah, yesterday, Jim was pretty much dictating everything from the baseline. I couldn't really hurt him that much from back there, and so I had to mix it up and try and rely on maybe coming to net a little more. But I felt like things just fell my way in the last 2 sets. Jim got a little frustrated, I think, in the second and third sets. He made a few uncharacteristic, unforced errors, which helped me as well.
And he also felt that having played Courier yesterday, he's playing a similar type of player in Andre Agassi, so that was going to be a bit of an advantage for him. But we're seeing a sharper Andre Agassi today.
15 love, 1-2. Cliff Drysdale, Vitas Gerulaitis sitting alongside our guest commentator for today. Patrick McEnroe is going to play the doubles with Jared Palmer against Black and Stark after this match.
40 love.
Game points here for Agassi.
And Patrick brought up an interesting point. When Agassi's very confident in his ground strokes, he doesn't really go for a whole lot in his serve. And that's why we saw him up at 87% first serve percentage. He's just trying to spin it in and take over with the ground strokes.
He knows he's really under no pressure when they're in the back of the court, and he's just, like you said, he's spinning it in and relying on his ground strokes.
Yep. You remember yesterday's match when Courier started to go down on the second serve. Stoltenberg was attacking him coming in, and maybe he's just trying to avoid that.
He's probably aware of that also, that Stoltenberg can chip the back end very well and get in, so why not take away that possibility by getting the first serve in.
2-all, second set. It's been a good week, Patrick. It's been a good tournament, hasn't it, here in Toronto?
Yeah, it's a great event, the Canadian Open. They alternate every year, Montreal, Toronto, and they put on a great spread for the players, and the players come out and enjoy it. As you can see here, we got a full house, and as long as the people come out, the players will keep coming back.
And I think the conditions here make for good tennis. The court's medium-paced, balls bounce pretty high.
First serve.
Gives both types of players a chance to play pretty well. It's not just a server's court or a ground stroker's court.
Definitely.
If you are in the area of Toronto now thinking about driving up, I suggest you stay home. It's jammed here. There are no more seats. It's full. Sold out. Excellent crowd. Love 15.
Love 30.
Good first serve percentage, 70%. He's winning 67%, but Agassi's punishing the second serve, winning only 47%. And you would expect that from Andre Agassi.
Yeah, I think you can see that Jason's feeling the pressure, and here he's down love 30. He's got to get himself going this game.
interesting. Agassi just put that one in. You know, he didn't hit the big forehand when it presented him. In a way, he is asking Stoltenberg to make the error, and he did. So he's got 3 break points now. Saves 1.
15.
I tell you that I will sometimes be known to say when it's a crucial moment, hold on to your hats, everybody. So our producer shows a hat every time it's an important point, just so you know. Break point.
Well, he better show a bunch of hats right now because it's a very important time for Jason Stoltenberg. I don't think he can afford to lose a break to stay in this match.
Missed it, and there is the breaker serve. The first, there was only 1 break in the first set. That's all that Agassi needed. Maybe that's all he'll need in the second. We'll find out.
Agassi leads 3-2.
You are watching the final match of the Canadian Open. Cliff Drysdale alongside Patrick McEnroe and Vitas Gerulaitis. Andre Agassi serving, leading 3-2 with the break, second set. Agassi won the first.
15 low.
15 low.
No story so far. It's been a very steady very steady Andre Agassi at the baseline, actually serving at 85% first serves, really putting a lot of pressure on Stoltenberg's second serve.
30 low.
Stoltenberg had triple break point in the first set. Didn't convert any of those to get back to even.
Yeah. The thing about being in Stoltenberg's shoes, Patrick, in my view anyway, is that you can't be intimidated. I mean, you got to do what's going to win for you, and he just is not coming in anymore because I think he's been passed so many times.
Cliff, I've been in his shoes before, and it's not pretty. You know? It's no fun, man.
Game point. And game to Agassi, 4 games to 2 now.
But Patrick, at the same time, you've got to sort of take your lumps, and if you really, your only chance is to mix it up a little bit more, come into net and take your chances to miss a few. What's the difference if you're going to lose with a break or 2, staying back and hitting 20 rallies and then losing the point?
Right. He might as well go for a couple winners or just try to chip and come in at this point. I mean, Andre's just got so much confidence. He's just spinning the first serve in, and he knows he can win every point basically from the back of the court. And when he gets in this groove, even from when you do come in, you know, he likes that target.
And he won't change anything unless you force him to do otherwise.
Right. Well, he'll stay with a winning pattern. Why not?
Only 2 winners of a Super 9 tournaments this year, Pete Sampras and Andre Medvedev. After this match, there'll be a third, and it looks for all the world like it's going to be the man from Las Vegas.
Well, it'll be interesting to see here if Andre goes for the second break. I was speaking with his coach, Brad Gilbert, this morning. He's in the same position yesterday against Ferreira. Didn't quite pick it up to go for that second break. And as Brad had said, you know, he needed to do that, try to get the second break. So let's see if he remembers that and does it here.
(30-15).
30-15.
There he is, Beach.
There he is.
Brad Gilbert.
Gilby.
Still plays the tour. There are not many guys who are playing and are coaches at the same time, are there?
What a sports nut he is. If there ever was a sports Trivial Pursuit game show on TV, we'd send him as our representative, would we?
Right.
40-15.
Actually, he's very thoughtful, and he does exactly the right thing. He looks for tendencies in his opponents. You know, he knows that if you get the guy on the run and he goes down the line all the time, he knows. Because he studies that kind of thing. 4-3, still a break for Agassi. He'll serve at 4-3, and he won the first set.
Why watch life on TV when you can live it? Why Italian leather shoes when there's hiking boots? Why pay for mountain spring water when you can get it for free? Times have changed, but you haven't. You've always appreciated the finer things in life. Daylight savings time, a good challenge, and your Amerlink log home. Beautiful, natural log homes designed to blend in with nature. Perfect for the lake, mountains, beach, or your favorite neighborhood. Energy-efficient log homes, produced with pride by Amerlink, an environmentally conscientious company. To discover more about Amerlink's log homes for the 90s, call 1-800-282-LOGS to order our 128-page full-color planning guide featuring photos and floor plans of 80 new models, all for only $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling. Call and order your Amerlink log home planning guide now, and you'll also receive a complete How to Build a Log Home video at no extra charge. Amerlink, America's log home company.
You're watching the Canadian Open Championships. Andre Agassi and Jason Stoltenberg. At the Italian Open this year on clay, it was Pete Sampras over Boris Beck. In fact, it was a destruction. He beat him 6-1, 6-2, and 6-2 after a great Italian Open for Becker getting to the final. It was an excellent win for Sampras, who is trying to go on to win the French Championships. He was unable to do so, losing to Jim Curry in the quarterfinals. But there it is, Pete Sampras, a winner of the Italian Championships. He also won Indian Wells and Key Biscayne. Medvedev has won the only other 2 Super 9s of this year. You're watching the Toronto final now, then on to Cincinnati and the rest. It's Agassi serving, 15 love, 4-3 Agassi leading, and 1 set to love. 15 all now.
That's only the second point that Andre Agassi has lost on his serve. Gives you an indication of what a great job he's done backing up his serve.
30-15.
Patrick, the creation of the Super 9 a couple of years ago. Good idea? Worked?
I think it's working pretty well. I think that obviously you see great players are winning them. Sampras winning the 3, Medvedev winning 2 others, and here looking like Agassi will win this one. So it's got the best players to play in those events, and that's what everyone wants to see.
Missed it.
30 all.
30 all.
Well, that's 2 points he's won this game, both coming in. He forced Andre to go for a little bit much on that. And I think, like you said, Vitas, he's just got to take a chance here. I mean, he's not going to win this point. Maybe Andre will make a mistake, but you can't count on it. I think he's got to try to force the issue.
This is break point.
30-40.
And this is crucial. I mean, he hasn't had many opportunities to even stay close with Agassi on his serve. First break point of the second set.
Miss hit. This is a good play from Agassi to come in.
But at the same time, it wasn't really that bad of a position for Stoltenberg. Agassi at the net, if he could have maybe just made him play a volley.
Yeah, I was thinking just as he was getting ready to hit that backhand that this is his favorite shot, and to make Andre hit a volley, at least dip it down at his feet. Andre actually could have come in on an earlier shot, but didn't want to come in, and he was really forced to by that short ball.
Deuce. Missed it. Game point, Agassi. Fair to say that Stoltenberg, Patrick, has got the armor, you know, to really make you work, because he seems to have all the shots. He can slice, he can hit topspin.
He can do everything, and he can come in, and he can stay at the back, and he showed that all week.
which is why when you've got him down, it's a good thing to keep him out.
Yeah.
Agassi holds on and has a 5-3 lead. Man, that was a big game. Break point opportunity there for Stoltenberg. He's currently number 20. He'll be number 15 after today's match. At the end of 93, he was 24. Last time he was in the top 10 was May of last year, and the top 5 was June 91. He's been ranked as high as number 3. But it's important, isn't it, for seedings at the Open and not to have to play one of the top seeds early. $15 all.
I'm sure some of the top seeds are pretty happy Andre's doing well here, too. I don't think, and how good Pete is, Sampras, he might not want to play Andre first, second round at the Open.
Yep. How quick is he, Patrick, on the tour relative to guys like Michael Chang, let's say?
I think back when he was number 3 in the world, as we saw on a monitor, here you see Jason trying something different. Andre moves very quickly to it and has shown some nice touch. But anyway, back then, here he comes in again. Gets it with the one hand and just pushes it cross court. But back when he was 3 in the world, I think he was moving exceptionally well, one of the best on the tour. And I think when he got into this whole thing of doing the weights and the training, he maybe lost a step or two. Now he seems to be moving very well. And I think a lot of it has to do with the confidence. You know, anyone who's obviously got confidence, I think he especially, when he's feeling confident, he moves a lot better. But he's doesn't have the straight-out speed that someone like Chang or this new guy, Beresitegi, we saw get to the finals of the French has.
30 all.
But then again, he doesn't need it because he's creating rather than retrieving most of the time.
That is good anticipation, just didn't make the shot. He was there.
And tension can really be a great inhibitor of speed. You know, when you're feeling tight, really prevents you from moving as freely as you would like to. But Andre really has moved well all week long.
Crowd realize that this is a crucial stage. It's match point.
Thank you.
Do you want me to head down or wait till match point? Wait, okay, great. Got it.
Yep, stood his ground that time.
That was a very nice save. Wasn't really a weak return from Andre Agassi.
Good percentage play for him, because when you're on the run like that, I mean, the high percentage play is the down-the-line shot. You don't have enough time, except your brother John always used to amaze me how he could get to that one and hook it cross-court.
Or Venus.
Game point, Stoltenberg.
Advantage Stoltenberg.
Yeah, that's a very good move from him. He knew exactly what to do, did it at the right time. He holds on after facing a championship point.
Well,
it's going to be Agassi to serve here for the match.
That was a very big game for Jason Stoltenberg, because even though Agassi is leading, it puts some pressure on him to serve for this championship. He moved in so beautifully the last couple of points to hold this serve, and that was not that easy of a volley. High volley, had to keep it firm, had to punch through it. And it's funny, some guys really work even harder for that second break. I myself was one of those guys, because it wasn't an easy holding serve for me. Jimmy Connors, on the other hand, if it happened, it happened. Agassi, I feel pretty much the same way. He doesn't seem to work extra hard for that second break.
missed it.
Love 15. Ooh, little tension in that volley, Beatles.
Yeah.
We'll talk about insurance break after this game if there is another game.
I was just going to say, when he had that short forehand, that he's going to feel really good with the first point behind him, because you love to get that first point, but now all of a sudden things could get interesting. And you saw Andre didn't want to come to net there.
Yeah.
He had a good forehand, started coming in, but said, nah, I think I'll stay back.
All. Missed it.
15-30.
Two close ones. 15-30. Oh, that down the line shot was beautifully played. Agassi, not the best volley in the business, had to try to make something out of a very difficult volley, and he couldn't, and he's got 2 break points against him. Watch this.
And this is where Brad Gilbert wants him to come into net a little bit more. Comes in on a great approach shot. He ends up losing a point. Then he goes back scratching his head. He said, well, why did I come into net?
Yeah. Looking over at Brad, he said, what are you telling me to do?
0 for 5 so far on break points. He's got 2 more, though. He missed it.
Just long.
Man, we've had, what's that, 4 points that have been within an inch of the line. 2 of them against Agassi, 1 at least against Stoltenberg that I can remember. That's 3, that's not 4. Still break point. Deuce. He just hasn't converted the break points.
But if I play tennis like Jason Stoltenberg, I would have to figure my percentages are higher at the net, trying to be passed twice by Andre Agassi than winning the point twice from the baseline with a clean winner.
Maybe now he takes that chance, Vitas. Second serve.
Let's see. There he comes. Good call. Didn't work. You got to come in behind something good, or you're going to come second anyway. It's still worth the risk, I think. Have to convince this man of that fact now, though. Match point again.
Well, it's Stoltenberg's best against Agassi's best.
Thank you.
It's over. The Lipton was a Super 9. He got to the final there, losing to Sampras. But this is his biggest win of the year. He's won 1. That was in Scottsdale. It wasn't a Super 9. Good effort, right?
I don't know if Patrick would agree, but I just felt a feeling from Andre Agassi that he really wanted to win this week. I just feel that Gilbert has sort of instilled this, come on, you've got a lot of talent. It just seems in the past you've let a few opportunities go by. He just seems to be grinding a little bit harder.
I think he's definitely working harder. He told me at the beginning of the week when I saw him, he said, hey, Toronto's good for Andre. You know, he likes to call himself the Punisher, you know, when he's really playing well. And I said, where's the Punisher? Is he coming out this week? He said, yeah, he's coming out. He likes Toronto, he told me. So he was right. He got his confidence going, but he's got to be able to take that into every week. And we know he can do it. I mean, he's got the talent, and it'll be great to see, you know, if he can keep it up through the rest of the summer.
There's no reason if you can punish people in Toronto that you can't punish people elsewhere, right?
Certainly, why not?
It's a typical Beach comment, you know, the Punisher. Is he, Patrick says, is he coming out this week? Well, he did come out, and wasn't it just a couple of days ago that he was down 2 match points to David Wheaton, and now he's the winner. He will hold up this Canadian Open trophy for 1994, winner of the Super 9, the Canadian Open here. Congratulations to Andre Agassi. More in a moment. Number 8 seed Andre Agassi, a winner in straight sets over Jason Stoltenberg, who had a terrific week here at the Canadian yesterday, beating Jim Courier in 3 sets, 6-love and 6-1. But Andre Agassi made it look very easy today as he wins behind one breaker serve in each set. Agassi, a straight set winner, 6-4 and 6-4.
It was great seeing him looking a little bit fitter, a little bit thinner. His speed is coming back to him, and really the way he played all week long, he deserved to win today.
He looked eager all week. I mean, he hit the ball great. He, like you said, he moved well. I think winning that match against Wheaton was just huge for him. Wheaton always gives him trouble. He was able to squeak that match out, saving 2 match points. And then from there, he just got better. And he got better and better as the week went on. And it's great to see. As Andre's great for the game. And it'd be nice to see how he does the rest of the summer.
Patrick, thanks a lot for joining us. Appreciate you coming up here and enjoyed what you said about this match.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break now from this Canadian Open Championships. We'll be back with the closing ceremonies and more as we continue our coverage of the Canadian Open from York University in Toronto. Welcome back, everybody, to our coverage of the Canadian Open Championships. Andre Agassi, a winner today. He is the Canadian Open champion, 6-4 and 6-4. We will hear from Andre Agassi shortly. First of all, I want to tell you, though, that let's go down now to the closing ceremonies where Andre Agassi has just been asked to come and say a few words as he accepts the top prize money check here as the champion for 1994.
Thank you. It's nice to be back here again. I do have one complaint, though, however. This is the second time I've won this tournament, and it's the second time they've stiffed me. I'd first like to congratulate Jason on a not only incredible week this week, but he's just been playing so well, and off injury and coming back from 166 in the world, he's now going to be well in the low 20s, I'm sure. And I know what it's like to be out of here for a while with an injury, and it's not easy coming back. He's doing it. Did it a bit quicker than me. It's taken me this long just to feel like I'm now playing my best. But thanks to Toronto, I think I'm back on schedule. I got to take a survey. How many? Okay, I won the tournament. You supported me. That was great. But how many do you think I was the best dressed out here this week? There we go. Let's not lose our priorities, all right? We can't. No, I'd like to thank all the volunteers, the ball kids, John Beddington, for just running and I'd like to say thanks to the worst wave I've ever seen from those group of people right up there. And a real special thanks to a guy who's been taking great care of us here this week. He's been with me nearly 24 hours a day, taking me from the courts back, doing things that really make us stay real enjoyable. That's been my companion and friend now, Giovanni. So Giovanni, thank you, wherever you are. None of your... What's your problem? So that's about it, but I wish this tournament was back here next year because I defended again. You guys inspire me. Thanks to all of you.
Andre Agassi, the showman from Las Vegas, putting on a show for this crowd here today. They really enjoyed it. They enjoyed what he had to say as well. He's $245,000 richer. You can add that to the over $6 million in official prize money that he has won during his career, which I suppose is a drop in the bucket compared to the endorsement income that this man, Andre Agassi, is able to generate. A winner here, 6-4, 6-4 over Jason Stoltenberg of Australia. We'll be back with more after this. Canadian Open Championships. We're in Toronto, Canada. The championship match. Andre Agassi, a winner today in straight sets over Jason Stoltenberg. So he is a winner of his first Super 9 for this year. Well, the IBM ATP Tour is trying to make a visit to a tennis tournament a little more friendly experience, and I think it's working. Used to be when you come to a tennis tournament, you'd have to stop about here because there was always a barrier there and you couldn't get in, and you knew that you were missing some great action. It always happened that way. You'd have your hot dog, and you'd have your Pepsi in your hand. The Pepsi would be getting hot, the hot dog would be getting cold. That's all changed now. No barriers here anymore. Let's check in and see what's going on here. They're actually playing on the stadium court, and I'm walking in. This is something brand new. See if we can get a view through these people here. You don't usually talk through the match, and I know it's kind of aggravating to people sometimes, but at least it is different now. As you can see, there's the top seed, there's Sergio Bruguera. He is playing right now on the same court. They're going to take a break for just a second, but things have changed now. The ATP Tour is trying to become more fan-friendly. I think it's working. There are some other rule changes that you should know about as well. The other changes are this: the time between the points has been reduced to 20 seconds from 25 seconds. It used to be 30 seconds, but players were taking the full 30 seconds and things had really slowed down. So the tour has decided to reduce it to 20 seconds, which will speed up play and which, in my opinion, is an excellent idea. Spectators are allowed to react during a point. Now, we haven't seen much of that during this Canadian Open Championships because, frankly, I don't think that the spectators are used to reacting. That will take a little while to change, but it's also a good idea to try to get them involved. Broadcasters, that's us, are allowed to place microphones on the umpire's chair now so that we can hear the interaction between the players and the umpires, and that has turned out to be a great idea. Take a listen.
You saw it good, she saw it good.
No. But you can't miss that one. I mean, I understand when it's close. I understand. That was crap.
Well, what you may have seen was what you may have seen, but this guy's been calling him good, and that ball was not long. So I don't think that was the mark.
The ball was wide. Look at it.
I see there are 3 marks there. There are 3 marks right there in a row. I don't know which one it is.
How did you see that? It's over now, but just close. I mean, what else is going to make that mark if the balls are new? He hasn't been serving to this side.
Nicholas, that's not the mark I saw.
Then what's his mark from?
It was right off the line.
What's his mark from?
It could be from another situation.
What situation? We're playing with new balls now.
I know, but it could be from another serve earlier on. Not
earlier on when? There's a new balls right now.
Nicholas, that's not...
I mean, you have to tell me that, but hey.
That's not the mark. Let's play.
So you look at the lights. You made a clear mistake right there.
Let's play.
No, she was 10 hours late, and because he looked the woman. Yeah. What? You're not watching the match or what?
I saw the ball return, but I have to go with the far sideline.
So if you saw the ball returning, it's because it's 1,000 times late goal. But it's late goal or no?
It was a late call, yes.
And it was not good, the ball?
From here, I think I have to go with the line and toss call. She's got the best views.
So that woman you should change because he returns, then she looks, and then she call out.
So the ATP Tour is trying to make it more friendly for you watching at home as you watch it on television. They're also trying to make it easier to come to a tennis match and watch. How easy? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to get up and leave while play is going on. Okay, it's one of the nice things to do. If you have some time, go watch a tennis tournament. Now let's go listen to Vitas Gerulaitis. He's with our champion, Andre Agassi, at courtside. Vitas.
Thank you, Cliff. I'm here with Andre Agassi, the Punisher, as Patrick McEnroe called you. You're back.
Well, I sure feel that way, Vitas. I mean, today was an interesting match for me. I knew that in the beginning, I really thought he was going to come at me, pressure me, try to get in on everything, but he was actually staying back. It kind of surprised me a little bit, so I really wanted to keep a lot of balls in, work them, and see if I can break them down, because I know that that's more my game than it is his, and at the end, I think I just started pulling away a little bit.
Did you rush it a little bit in that very last game? 2 quick errors, but then you sort of pulled it back back and ended up serving for the match?
I always rush it when I serve for them, you know, for the titles. You know, I mean, it's a tough game to play, one of the toughest game in the whole tournament as far as I'm concerned. So to pull back that game was crucial for me. But still, I feel like I would have stayed positive and got him in the breaker or even in the third set. So that's the most important thing. If I stick to the goals that I have and try to maintain the steps that are getting me to where I am today. And gosh, I couldn't feel better about the way things turned out.
In your acceptance speech, you talked about your injury. You referenced to how difficult it was coming back. Do you feel like you're fully have recovered now from the wrist injury?
Yeah, I can't imagine not. I mean, this is really the first week. Even in Key Biscayne, when I got to the finals, I felt like I was moving well and competing well, but I didn't feel like I was as sharp as I am here. I feel like I'm really hitting good shots now, and I'm putting the ball away when I go for it. So I do feel like I've completely recovered. It's been a long road.
At any point, did you have any doubts that you would come back to this really good form?
Yeah, I've questioned that a lot, especially in the clay season this year, because I just felt on my heels all the time. I felt like I wasn't hurting guys anymore. And, you know, when you take off 6 months, if you remember when John McEnroe did it, he came back and it was never quite the same. And, you know, 6 months is a long time in this sport.
Okay, you're playing good tennis again. What are you going to work on between now and the U.S. Open?
Well, I think I need more matches like these. I need to get out there, stay focused, so I'm convinced that when it really comes crunch time at the U.S. Open, I'm going to be there mentally. And, you know, this was a great week for me in so many ways, but most importantly, I think it's allowed me to believe that I can come out here and in the toughest of situations, you know, come out on top. I've lost a lot of close matches. Lost 5 sets against Todd Martin, 5 sets against Booster. I've lost 3 sets in Monte Carlo. I've lost a lot of close matches, and now to come out and win a few, it's going to do wonders for my confidence.
A couple of great comebacks from Andre Agassi. Congratulations. Back up to you, Cliff.
Thank you very much, Vitas. When he talks about 5 sets against Muster, of course, he's talking about the French Championships loss. And then Todd Martin in 5 sets at Wimbledon. He lost to him, but he was a winner here today in no uncertain terms, easily 6-4 and 6-4 as Jason Stoltenberg is heading slowly out of this National Tennis Center court, signing autographs for people as he does so. It's been his best tournament financially ever. In fact, I'd say it's been his best tournament ever, period, financially and in every other way. He played some great tennis, but not great enough today against Agassi, the winner of the Canadian. Eastern time on Saturday here on ESPN2. There's Andre Agassi having his picture taken with that great piece of artwork that he will be able to take home with him, and it is typical of this Canadian area. I got a piece of that in my home as well, and he's going to enjoy that, I'm sure. Agassi, a winner today, easily over Jason Stoltenberg. He did not have an easy week of it. He took out Wayne Ferreira 6-4, 7-5 in the semifinals. Before that, he took out Sergi Bruguera, but that was a very close one in 3 sets, and he had a long 3-setter against David Wheaton as well, winning that one 7-6 in the 3rd set. Playing brilliant tennis as he now leaves this center court here at the National Tennis Center, Toronto. We're on the campus of York University, and we're going to wrap up our coverage of today's Canadian Open Championships. First of all, we are going to take a break. Stay with us, everybody.